also be with positive guys and doing meaningful issues, meaningful job. You understand? And that's why, maybe, Allah Jalla Jalaluhu in the Quran يقول, so when we understand we accept. So, قل يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وكونوا مع الصادقين. So this is actually why Allah Jalla Jalaluhu to be with Sadiqeen, to be with guys. So, like, how can we be together with this Sadiqeen? It doesn't necessarily mean that you listen with them, but you learn, you do something, you do something, you do something together, and that rituals collectivity help us to feel better. Many psychologists, including, as I said, Jung, Freud, even Seneca, who's a philosopher, or Martin Seligman, too many psychologists, they all suggested us to develop positive relationships with good companies to have a better psychological well-being. So the reason is because you know what? You get together with people, you learn, you get together with good guys, you learn from them, you feel better. And actually, the essence of therapy in psychology. So you go to someone, you listen to them, okay, you from them, and you talk to them. So we need to increase our positive relationships with good guys doing good stuff. That's why the rituals important in for our psychological well-being. Rituals. What do I mean with the rituals? Rituals are actually the habits, the behaviors. Um, um, it is, we get together with people, like, Salah, namaz. This is a ritual. Or we get together with the family for dinner, for breakfast, for reading. These are rituals. So the rituals are the games, are the activities which keep us together. Okay, which keep us together and which make us feel better. So there's two kind of there's two kind of there are routines and there are rituals. They're actually very much related to each other. But rituals are more symbols, okay, which make us get together and which really help us feel better. I think alhamdulillah, that there are too many activities in Islam which can be called as a ritual because we pray together, right? We feel together. Durkheim, I'm sure you know Durkheim. Durkheim is talking about collective well-being, like collective well-being. So he says that when you do something together, you will feel this friction. And I'm not sure if you know Jung Chul. There is a guy who is a very famous Korean German author, Jung Chul. He says he's talking about the etymology of religion. Religion, etymologically, the root religion is about relegating. So it is about emotional regulation. Okay? Religion and regulate. So religion actually helps us to regulate our emotions and behaviors through the regions. And that's why. And religion helps us to slow down the world and to listen to our own selves and our own mind lived in Islam. So you need to have that muhasabah. You know, this muhasabah. It's the muhasabah. So you listen to yourself. You listen to yourself. And because you listen to yourself, then you improve yourself. In psychology, we call it nutritious retreat. Yes, nutritious retreat. It is not isolation, okay? It is retreat like in Islam, which we call zuhud, or which we call so you just listen to yourself, but you also feed yourself. You read, you do some activities, you learn, and so you feel better. And the more you learn, the more you will be contributing to your own future and your society's futures. So there are too many types of well-being in psychology. We have that psychological well-being, we have economic well-being, and we have social well-being. Right? So there are the components of psychological well-being, and they are the components of psychological well-being. They are autonomy, they are self-acceptance, and it is developing positive relationships. Yeah, and it is about having purpose in life, and environmental safety, and what else? I think that's it. So this is psychological well. So they took it. So environmental mastery and positive relationship and having purpose in life and self-acceptance. When we go to the social well-being, social well-being is developed by Carol Kayes, and I think he's a Canadian American sociologist. He talks about social well-being. So social well-being, if we want to feel socially well, or social well, the components of social well-being are, so if you are contributing to your community and your environment is a part of social well-being, okay? And then if you're integrated into your society, this is part of social well-being. If you are accepted by your community, and if you accept your community, this is again something related to social well-being. So contribution is important. We, for us to feel better, to do better, we need to really have a meaning and purpose in life. And thank God, I mean, alhamdulillah, as Muslim people, we already have meanings. Because we need to contribute to our society. We need to do our best for everyone, even the creator in this life. And while doing this, we need to keep as much, I mean, as good as possible. And that's why maybe Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in many hands, he urges us to be good guys and to do something good for others. Right? To do something good for others. You know what? There are psychologically, I'm sure you know this one. Helper's high. Helper's high. There is a term which is called helper's high. So we suggest that when you help someone, when you do something, when you do a favor for other people, yourself, you will feel better. Okay? And basically, to get rid of depression, no, the best, the quickest way to get rid of depression is to help others. Because you feel that euphoria, you feel that one thing when you do something for others. Like what? You know, you invite me to speak here. I'm trying to contribute to my to the community. And because I speak, because I'm trying, and when you are helping others, when you are helping others, you release that oxytocin, the hormones. So because we are here, this is actually a ritual as well. We get together. And because we get together and we know each other, we release that oxytocin. That oxytocin helps us feel. And another thing is that, so another thing is that you, no, those who are seeing others, helping others, they also feel better. Because this is also called moral elevation. So which means you morally feel better, and you also are urged to do feel urged to do favors for others when you see people are helping each other. So even not only helping others, but also watching others helping others will feel us better. And that's why again Rasulullah sallallahu to help others, not like not only via you know, doing something. If you can only smile, if you can only say something good to these people, thank you. And that's why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us to smile. And this is sadaqah. Yeah. Saying something good is sadaqah. Helping others is even in a very tiny and modest way. You know, three us. That's to her. She's giving me a lot. So she has that helper side. Really, at all times, so she has. She does great for me. And this is something. Tell me something. So if you want to ask me something, you can stop me at any time. It would be great actually if you just if you talk to each other. If we talk to each other, that will be ritual and that will help us flourish. But if I am the only person who talks here, it will not be ritual. It will be like kind of monologue and button to talk together. I'll tell you something, guys. Family, keep it high. Sure. Uh, this is very important. Please, I mean, tell family and please, or tell in Indonesian language as well. Okay? I want you to tell what I said to translate it in Indonesian because this is very important. I want everybody to understand it very well. There is a in psychology we have that longitudinal studies. Longitudinal studies, everybody knows that. So they are simply investigating those 13 people like for years and years, right? They start the research when a child is 10 and takes it for like 30 years, 3 decades, or even 8 decades or 20 decades. Okay, so too long time. This is called longitudinal study. And in the US, they study about the impact of smiling on people and on others. So they had that longitudinal study. Right? So they checked people from their physical books. In Turkey we have that annual books of graduation. So you have your photo there, and your friends write down something. So you have your book with you at all times. This is called the annual book. So they checked some people from their annual books, looking at their photos. Some people who are smiling, some people who are not smiling, who has like angry sad faces, right? Then at some famous people, like Obama, Federer, too many famous people. Obama is a great guy, smiling, dancing. And then the results of the study, the result after like maybe 3 decades or 4 decades, the results of the study suggested that those who have smiling face are making more money than the sad faces. And they are solving their in a quicker way, the smiling faces. And they usually are hopeful and they are having much happier marriages, right? And importantly, they make more money and more. They live at least 4 years longer than those who are very sad. You understand? Which suggests Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam يقول التبسم والصدقة. Yeah. That's guys. Yeah. Now, and Rasulullah asks, الصدقة يطول العمر. See that? So this is like you smile, you give sadaqah, and you live longer and you live happier. That's very basic. That is it. And Rasulullah already put it. See that? You smile, and this is like proved by scientific and empirical study. Okay? So we'll give back the
Ya, saya pikir semuanya udah paham ya.
I want you to everybody, understand again.
Bicara tentang senyum.
Senyum translate.
She's everything.
Tunggu nama.
Okay, sorry.
Is my short?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
About Zoom, as you mentioned. Yes.
Yeah.
So, okay. Looking the words leaders between keeping the territorial, the nation territorial, with what and political between keeping saving the people issue in this war era. Yeah. I saw more of the leader like president and my president. Our president. In our line, it's like what the war leader line. And in America, here, nothing. The question is, what the mind of so good? What the mind so good in war era? Between keeping the people with political will and surrounding in their nation each country. So what the good the war era?
For question.
Yes. Because like it's the choice between how to keep the people in their nation. And so the political machine is some is possible. Some is possible. Jadi kira-kira zoom di konteks di era perang, sisi lain harus menjaga masyarakatnya. Tapi sisi lain harus mengikuti politik luar negeri yang harus berjalan. So, what
Terus gue politik.
political? It's very political. Yes. Yeah,
We're talking about positive psychology. Yeah.
The underlying word is super in the war. So, what's your idea about this?
Wow, Zoot.
Yes.
I'll answer this question later on.
Ya.
The thing is that no, Zoot is a great question. Thank you very much. But actually, it's not about the topic that I'm.
Yeah.
But Zoot is, I think, Zuhd is also like keeping yourself,
Yes.
keeping yourself unoccupied, not with unnecessary things. Okay, the zuhd itself is keeping yourself distant with unnecessary things. And that's again that these also um, um, تركه من حسن إسلام المرء تركه ما لا يعنيه, which means that zuhd in that you know we are in a world era, right? So there is that information overload for every part. Okay, so yes, we are social beings, like humans are social beings, but humans are also political beings, I think, because at the end of the day we need to know something about what's happening around us while the world is there. What we are the dessert here. Dessert here. It's again about internal psychology. It's about contributing to your community, to contributing to your community as much as you can, but also to be as good as possible for your own well-being, right? But also try to distance yourself with unnecessary information. Information on you don't need to know everything. So, right? Suppose that I'm a psychologist, I'm studying, I'm teaching, learning, I'm writing, and yes, it is good to have a political and cultural information about something, but we need to keep this in a limit, within a limit, right? Otherwise, it will not be possible for me to focus on my study and on my well-being, right? There is more, there is like too many conflicts,
Yes.
unfortunately, then yes, we may know something about, but we must not lose our moral compass and our focus one. And therefore, Zoot in this technological and digital age is very unfortunately because we have that information overload. Everything we are becoming very much occupied, which is not necessary, which is not beneficial, which is not really good. Why should I know everything about this Trump doing? Why should I know everything about this Indonesian president is doing? I have nothing to do with it, right? Or why should I always follow what is Obama doing or Erdogan? Okay? Yes, to some extent, that cultural and political information is a we need to limit ourselves and focus on our personal development, right? And focus on our social development, and focus on our brain, right? And that's why Zuhud is very important in this culture, in this political culture, in this digital culture, where we are always with our phones and scrolling and looking for information. No, we must keep this away. And because we are always with this, we are not able to focus on what we are doing. It is a huge distraction, right? Even now, you're not listening to what you see. And the reason why you able to learn, there's thank you very much.
Yeah.
This is very important. Translate what I said before. There's a guy, very famous, John High, is a British author. He wrote the book called Stolen Focus. Stolen Focus, right? And he talks about that zone. He doesn't talk about zone. He says that because of the information load, because the technology in our hands at all times, we are losing our words. We are losing our attention. We are not able to stay in flow. We are not because we are this one, unfortunately, weakens our memory. Weakens our memory and also weakens our creativity and He is talking about switching costs. You know the switching cost. Every time, each time you check your phone and turn back or go back to your job, you lose at least 20 minutes of your brain. You cannot focus back on what you are doing. So you lose the focus. Okay? So you lose your flow. You lose your flow. So you like completely 100% focus on what you are doing. You're immersed in what you want. Right? So flow is free. And that's why Zoot is about flow theory, and Zoot is also about um, Islamic language. It is khushu', khushu', because we have phone and we have that information over everything, looking more, we lose everything. So we cannot stay in khushu'. In one cry, we start really, and we don't really remember anything. Did I read this time? Did I miss this morning? Did I? Again, it's music. That's why it's interesting. Thank you. But this is a subject of a discussion. Thank you. Yeah.
Ya, saya rasa ini ada mahasiswa saya yang di sini ya. Jadi fokusnya tadi itu terkait tentang sosial media, tentang penggunaan handphone kalau kita terlalu fokus ke sini malah kita akan kehilangan fokus pada kerjaan kita, maka bisa menipis ingatan ya. Dan unnecessary, tidak begitu penting kita itu harus selalu mengikuti pemerintahan ini misalnya FBG. Saya jadi ingat dulu itu pasien datang, dulu pernah heboh itu di media sosial, ada orang yang stres gara-gara memikirkan pemerintahan Indonesia saat ini. Hanya ada dia. Zoom itu adalah pada pekerjaan kita, pada identitas kita sebagai seorang pelajar, dia belajar, kita sebagai dosen kuliah belajar, mengajar, menikmati, dan jangan terlalu fokus kepada ini, kemudian kita selalu melihat yang nggak begitu penting gitu ya. Nah, tadi beliau mengatakan dalam hal ini itu flow pada kerjaan kita. Dalam psikologi itu ada teori flow. Flow itu menikmati. Bahkan kita itu bisa menyelam dalam bacaan kita berdiskusi dengan yang kita baca, itu teorinya flow. Menikmati. Dan itu akan membuat kita jauh lebih bahagia ketimbang kita memikirkan sesuatu yang nggak begitu penting gitu ya, malah membuat kita stres. Misalnya pemerintah kita ya, kita mikirin itu padahal itu urus kita di sini aja, selesai depan waktu. Nah, itu hanya tahu aja, dan kita nggak terlalu secara mendalam memikirkan itu. Saja pada kerjaan kita seorang pelajar, kita kontribusi dengan sosial. Tadi beliau menyampaikan tentang social well-being ya, nanti kita itu kontribusi pada yang lain dan bersama. Dan hari ini bicaranya tentang ritual. Ternyata ritual yang beliau maksud itu bukan hanya sholat, bukan puasa, bukan itu, tapi ritual itu adalah bertemu bersama, berdiskusi tentang hal yang baik. Itu akan membuat kita akan menjadi lebih baik. Kalau kita stres ketemu dengan orang lain, bicara aja, kata beliau akan membuat hati kita menjadi lebih tenang. Itu maksudnya tadi.
Thank you. You talked about the study. Smile.
Ya, jadi mengalami rajin untuk senyum itu jauh lebih mudah dari usia yang sebenarnya, ya. Kemudian akan membuat kita memudahkan untuk rich people, jadi lebih kaya, jadi banyak uang kalau kita sering senyum. Karena dengan senyum itu akan banyak orang yang membuat banyak rezeki yang datang. Itu.
Jodoh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. He can marry because he always married.
Ah, see, that's the thing is that sometimes we underestimate what we are really underestimate. It's underestimate. That's fine, we say it's very important. It's a very protest. Believe you smile despite of everything, despite of war, despite I've been here like 2 days and I have rat at my home here. I have lizard at my home here, but I'm still trying to smile. This is very important. Don't underestimate it. Tell you something else. Um, there's a concept in psychology which is called um, reciprocal inhibition. What does that mean? It means that reciprocal inhibition means that when you have something stressful, when you have something, you do something to lessen your body and yourself. Like you do something in contrast of your sadness and stress. It's called cycle inhibition. But you're very sad, but despite that, you're happy smiling. So that will keep you uplifted and that will keep your brain and cognition work better and not uh, drown into the depression. You understand?
Maybe you can give example.
Okay?
Give the example.
Give me an example. Yeah, sure. Suppose that you in a process of grief, you lost one of your family members, very close member, you someone. Then they pass, and you're in a process of grief. Instead of sitting down and crying and sad, that's fine. You do something which will help you cope with your grief. Like what? You do an activity. You keep your routines and rituals. That's one thing I suppose that I'm married. I'm fighting my when I have a conflict with my wife, right? We get angry to each other and we sometimes unfortunately shout at each other. But because she has something to do, because I have something, I go to school early. And she goes to teach and she but if we don't do anything, when we are sad, we are depressed. It will be much more difficult for us to cope with our depression and distress and fear, uncertainty. Okay, this is and that's say that the cognition is very important. Sorry, cognition is very important, and our brain works in an interesting way. Okay, when you feel very sorry, instead of sitting down and feeling sorry about something or feeling hopeless about something, go get out and look at itself will work very well to help you with your grief sadness. And the studies suggest that the best and the fastest way to get rid of your depression or to regulate your emotions is to because and again the studies suggest that sitting brains, okay, or sitting cognition is more prone to depression than walking brain. So suppose that you have set names on it. Okay, you fail in your brain cell. If you keep sitting down, your brain will be more prone to negativity. Understand? If you get out of your comfort zone and walk, you will be more prone to positivity. And that's why, again, I don't know if it's Al-Qaeda, no? Al-Qaeda الناس إذا هم يمشون هو يعني مشيون يمشون هم أحسن من القاعدة. Understood? So yes, we have القاعدة something. We don't have verse. So even Islam tells people to occupy something. And that's why the occupation itself is important. Please do occupy yourself with something. And that's why Rasulullah once at that time, when he was walking by some people with something, he saw someone. Usually when Rasulullah and Ashab al-Kiram, when they it's like when they walk, when they see someone, they say salam. Salam is a ritual team. Because salam itself will make us feel good. If I say, hey, because you do something, you have an activity because you speak. So your brain works. If you don't speak, your brain will keep outside silent and but speaking itself is important. Saying salam alaikum. Salam is important. I'll tell you something. أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول البخيل عندكم هو الذي يعني هو الذي لا يسلم على الناس. I mean, they don't say the meanest people. You know what this means? بخيل. That's cool. No, not cool. بخيل is the mean, the stingy. Stingy, right? The people who doesn't want to pay anything for anyone. So he says the stingiest people among you are those who do not give salam to others. And actually, salam itself is very important because when you give salam, and you will make that person feel, because that is the best psychological communication. Right? Yeah. Why is the salam? Genes and rituals are. And what's the attack? He was walking with other ashab, with other ashab, and someone got doing nothing. One guy doing nothing, just sitting. And he didn't say salam. And then, when they were turning back, he saw the same guy, like simply lying in the sand, in that desert. And he said salam. Rasul said salam. And people asked him, why you didn't give salam? He was walking, but he now gave salam. He said because the king was doing nothing. When we were turning back, it was like this. At least that's why I gave salam. That's why rituals, routines, and activities are important. They will make you feel better. And another thing is that, suppose that when you're social, when you're doing something with the others, like zikr, praying together, and suppose that you many people, you don't listen to yourself. No, when you also think, if I suppose that you are with the good guys around you have that positive self-comparison, and you will also be trying to make yourself feel better. And you actually, when you are with others, you are also actually examining yourself. Okay, so you have that great self-compassion. Now suppose that we are here, Fahmi is speaking up, so I have that positive comparison, and I say, I wish I could speak Arabic like him, right? So this is positive. So I go and ask him, how can I learn Arabic in the best way? So he will then suggest me something. This is positive self-compassion. So the rituals also help us to learn who we understand.
Yeah.
Because we compare ourselves with others. So the rituals, the like routines are about repetition, right? They are the best way to get rid of depression is to go back to your routines. And that's why going to masjid is important. No matter what happens, for instance, I go to the mosque, I get back when I pray. If you don't have any routine, so it will be quite more difficult to get results. However, the routines are kind of repetitions, okay? Routines. And the routines are the regular, repeated behaviors. But the rituals are also important. But the rituals are beyond repetition. Their meaning, their particularism, their shared identity. The routines are about what we do, but the rituals are about who we are. Who we are. So when we are doing something in a meaningful way, when we are having rituals with the family, we understand actually, or with our friends. Suppose that with zikr, in Turkey, we just had a study. In Turkey, we have like in the mosques, especially at the weekends, in the mornings after the morning prayer, people nowadays get together and they have that zikr, right, after the praise, morning praise, and even non-believers are participating in the zikrs. Non-believers, they don't believe in God, but they feel better when they are together because they're doing something. Something, right? So they feel that he's boring. And the rituals that even like dinners, breakfasts, we do something together. They help us feel better. And there are too many studies. Which suggest that meaningful rituals, especially the family rituals, are very much associated with higher family cohesion, with a greater life satisfaction, okay, better emotional adjustment, stronger resilience, healthier child development. Understood? Ritual, I get together with my children, we eat together, talk together. So this will help our even like physically, cognitively, psychologically, and socially, this all help our children to develop in a better way. We should not say it's Islamic culture. This is really suppose there's also talking about go get together with good people that we already know. Once upon a time, I was in another seminar. One of the participants asked me that he said, uh, what was the most important results of your studies which made you feel happy? Yes. Sorry. This is great. I said personally, the results which are already in line with my values, traditions, and religion are making me much happier. Because it already tells me to be with good guys. It's not tells me to be with something. and the religion or the values how we to occupy itself with something good. I'm also think the results of studies which are suggesting the same thing. So that makes it very shall I just one more thing. Rituals are very important for child's development. Physically, psychologically, cognitively, and other things. Another results of the study here, see here, demonstrates that regular family meals are linked to low rates of anxiety, depression, substance use, and behavioral problems among adolescents, while simultaneously promoting better academic and stronger emotional. Do you understand? Like rituals, doing something good with people, with friends, with family, will help us low rates of anxiety, depression, substance use, the addiction. If we have good routines and rituals, we will not be satisfying in addiction because we have great things to do. We have great rituals and activities together. We should not go to the addiction. You understand? So this is also reciprocal question. Reciprocal inhibition is very important here. Because I am carrying myself, keeping myself busy with something good. You do not go to substance use or addiction. And so this is very important. Let me talk about something else. There is a very famous Harvard University study. Um, it is again a very longitudinal study by Harvard University. Here I am. It was Harvard's study of adult development. So they studied adults for 8 decades, like which means 80 years. They studied people for 80 years, right? That researchers reached a very important, remarkable, and consistent conclusion, which suggests that the stronger or strongest predictor of happiness, the strongest predictor of happiness, physical health, longevity, is not wealth, is not, richness, is not intelligence, is not academic or professional success. But the strongest predictor of happiness is the quality of our close relationships. You understand? So good relationships protect mental health, decrease the effect of stress, promote resilience, and it also, and more importantly, contribute to healthier aging, physical aging, okay? Good relationships, regions. So I'll tell you the last thing. Again, psychology. There is a term called hospitalism. Hospital and hospitalism. They talk about the children who were hospitalized in Romania. Romania, the country. In I think 1980s or 70s something. I don't know the exact date. There was a president in Romania who was called Ceausescu. I think Ceausescu. So that guy forced his people to have too many children. Yes, population boom, baby boom. However, the economic circumstances in Romania back then was okay. It was in economic recession, and people were very poor, and they were not able to even meet their very, how we say, um, very basic um, needs. Okay, so there were too many children. Families had like 6, 10 children. Then they were not able to look after their children, so they left their children in orphanages. You know what's orphanage? The care hospitals. You know what is it? The care homes. Too many children in the care homes. Too many children. However, most of these children could not physically, psychologically, cognitively develop because of lack of love, lack of caregiving, lack of happiness, and lack of, maybe physical nutrition. Okay? But some children were adopted by some families, and they looked after them and cared for them. And the secure attachment between these children who were adopted from the family helped them physically, cognitively, psychologically, socially feel being better. But those who stayed in the care homes, unfortunately, could not even speak because they couldn't have that secure and sincere attachment. And rituals help us have secure attachment between our caregivers. The attachment styles are very important, but we do not have that constant rituals. Rituals could be also there. So like, you can get together and each Saturday you can get together and have substance. It's also a ritual. So you need to have good rituals. And rituals will help you have secure attachment between you and your children. And we should not underestimate, um, the dinners, the breakfast, the evening, the meals, the travel was that's all. Um, let me see if I something else. Too many pages here. Okay. See here that. One more thing. Taking together the findings of many studies is about actually the core idea of this lecture. Families flourish not like families flourish and feel it and get better, not because they are free from individuals, right? Families flourish not because they are free from problems, but families flourish because they intention cultivate communication, shared meaning, resilience, and connection. Flourishing is therefore less about the absence of adversity than about the presence of supportive relationship. So flourishing is about supportive relationship. It is about meaningful interactions and shared family practices that enable individuals to grow together. Oh, thank you for listening to me. I have lots of thanks. So please stop me. Yeah.
Minutes and one question.
Yes.
Ada yang ingin ditanyakan?
Okay. Thank you for your answer. And I say good afternoon in Yogyakarta. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Okay. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Ayuhan Fadia Nisa. You can call me Fadia. I'm from Master of Islamic Studies in the concentration of Islamic thought or Islamic philosophy. My question is about tasawwuf. Right now, I'm making an article about tasawwuf in the gender perspective. Yeah. What's your opinion about tasawwuf in Islamic world right now? Not more than about tasawwuf, and maybe one problem is one or in Indonesia cinta dunia or love work desire. Yeah, maybe like this. Right now, any problems about Wahan in the many countries, for especially in several countries. Yep. What's your opinion or what's your highlights about Wahan in several countries, for especially in Islamic countries like this? Thank you.
So Wahan. Hubud dunia.
Wahan hubud dunia.
Dunia.
Yeah.
Mashallah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So it's great. Dunia. You know, in Islamic, in Turkish culture, we call that so thank you very much. The culture is tasawwuf is very important to me, like, personally, because the psychology is very much related to Islamic psychology, and Islamic psychology sounds quite much interrelated to Christianity. So the literature and the culture about us, I believe that although tasawwuf itself has kind of contradictions and kind of tasawwuf culture helped Islamic societies to develop an identity of self, right? And when we check the psychological information about individual psychology, and when we check how tasawwuf people or how tasawwuf regions helps people to develop, we can see that information very much overlaps. Tasawwuf will help us very much learn who we are, okay? Because tasawwuf itself, like, through the peace and through the culture of Islam, tasawwuf, see that. It is about zikr. So the zikr or the zuhd is a حب الدنيا. So we need to like keep a distance between dunya. When we talk about حب الدنيا, it's not necessarily like the money. Okay? حب الدنيا is actually anything which all very much, right? So حب الناس, حب information, like information overload. Okay? So this is also حب الدنيا. So that I believe that Islamic culture helped people, especially in Islamic world, to how we say, to have knowledge about themselves, right? And it helped people to develop themselves again in many ways, especially through, as I said, narrative therapy, through storytelling, through zikr, through zuhd, through we call it sayr suluk. You know what is sayr suluk? Notice that. So when you go to some school, they tell you to do something to improve yourself, okay, which will help you feel modest, for instance, right? So this culture and this information and this knowledge, I think the intellectual accumulation, okay, the intellectual saving is very important for the world. It's very important for Muslim countries. It's very important for us to learn who we are, right? Um, and I think that that's it. And I can say that, for instance, Gaza um, and Kindi, Ibn Hazm, right? And of course, in Turkish culture, Rumi or Yunus, they are all of them culture. And they talk things. The issues they talk is very sound, but it's also actually about psychology. Versus Yunus Emre is a very famous like Turkish Sufi person, and he lived into 1200s. Okay, 1200s. He talks about knowing ourselves, who we are, and he says that entire علوم كل العلوم في كل العلوم في معرفة في معرفة النفس ومعرفة الله. Like he says that you, the main reason of studying something and learning something is knowing who you are. If you don't know who you are, you cannot know who is, right? And if you don't know who you if the item itself does not help you to know who you are, so it's totally blind, right? And he says, yes. So therefore, the culture of very much culture and psychology, the subculture and psychology is very much overlapped, and it helps people to understand themselves.
Okay.
I would like to ask.
Okay, thank you for your that's your answers.
Okay, take final question maybe. Atau dijelasin kesimpulan sedikit. Ada penting tadi yang disampaikan ini. Kalau para dosen kada paham ini karena ada mahasiswa. Saya ingin menjelaskan tadi sedikit. Intinya tadi tentang stres, Bu. Kalau stres itu jangan sendiri. Kalau lagi stres aja sih, ternyata otak itu bekerja. Kalau kita stres, dia akan membawa kita ke arah yang negatif. Tapi kalau itu stres, kita langsung pergi keluar, ada kegiatan, itu akan menurunkan stres itu sendiri. Yang penting jangan sendiri, jangan diam di rumah kalau lagi stres, yang pokoknya harus keluar. Ketemu dengan orang, bicara dengan orang lebih baik. Ketemu dengan banyak orang lebih baik. Mungkin banyak orang yang kita temui, kita cerita banyak hal, pokoknya kita kerjakan, maka itu akan menghilangkan stres. Itu poin yang kemudian tentang cerita di Rohingya juga di banyak anak yang kemudian dititipkan di panti asuhan. Nah, ternyata mereka menunjukkan anak-anak yang tinggal di panti asuhan itu akan menunda mereka bicara. Nah, untuk kemampuan mereka bicara itu akan tertunda. Karena kalau mereka itu diadopsi oleh pabrik, mereka itu ada dianya hanya juga bagus, berfungsi tersedia dan sebagainya. Kemudian yang terpenting terakhir adalah ritual dalam makan. Ini juga jadi pelajaran buat kita, buat saya khususnya ya. Jadi kalau makan bersama, jangan makan sendiri. Jadi ya biasanya ya. Ini tadi saya ajak makan di sini nggak mau karena mau pulang makan dengan keluarganya. Karena beliau datang ke sini dengan anak dan istrinya. Jadi mau makan tetap mau makan di rumah, nggak mau makannya di luar. Kalau mau makan di luar ya beliau, kita juga harus mengajak anak dan istri. Nah, itu ya. Ternyata salah satu hal yang paling penting yang membuat beliau bahagia itu adalah menjaga rutinitas selalu bersama keluarga. Gitu. Jadi thank you very much.
It's my pleasure. Okay, so no more.
Psychosocial, social psychology, student psychology, social psychology. The artificial intelligence destination of student is job. The goal destination is job. They being able they confused to what to stay between how to think deeply on their study with the last destination like job. So so we are students and my field is educational psychology. Uh, so sometimes I think deeply about this. I face student deeply about this situation. What is your opinion on several countries about this factor of our student? How to face our student in this condition? In this condition, so they have what apa ya lemah apa lemah the weak survival, we survive how to think deeply about the maybe something or apa masalah problem. They cannot spread it to one by one about their problem on the activity in study. So what's maybe there are many different ways on this story how to face our student on this problem.
So the question is,
Then we survive. So
okay,
in in let's say in the study.
it's very all right, thank you very much. So yeah, AI is very important to nowadays for everybody, not only for students, but for everything else. And we do use it. You know, when we said, ChatGPT works in AI or like, what are the literature so the technology is always here. The technology was always actually that thing. So even from very much the invent of cinema and then radio and then television and so whenever we had this kind of technologies, we always had that. So we said things to each other. We want people to talk to each other. And then we got used to it. Right? So the AI, however, is really another phase of another development of technology. It's huge, right? They simply do everything for us. Even for me, I came here and I asked just before the class, I asked ChatGPT, I am in Yogyakarta. What to have true for some countries which are close in Yogyakarta, could you please just make my trip for 10 days? That's
Yeah.
doesn't right? This. So it's something good to use AI itself. Just like it is good to use to eat now. It's good to use. It is good to use good. Some down parts of using AI. For my own experience, for my own perspective, we should use AI and other technologies very responsibly and interact. Spaces try to literally however, I I read it very carefully and check my resources and use contribute to it. So that helps me to do my job even better. We shouldn't rely totally on not totally. In terms of English, for instance, it's how ChatGPT translates does it for me. But if I can live with him, then I will not be able to learn anything. So AI will do everything. However, we should not forget that we cannot do everything with AI.
Yeah.
And this current AI is everything for an academic, for a student. It's everything. But those who will be successful in their life, those who have information itself for themselves, they learn it. Okay, it's good to use AI, but if we don't learn it, we cannot improve ourselves. I'll tell you something. there is a very important guy who's called Harari. Harari is an Israeli, he's a he's not that old actually, and he has a book called 20, 21 Lessons for 21st Century. That was great. In that book, he says that technology is already doing everything for us. AI is already doing everything for us. Those who will be successful in their today's life and in the future are those who have those four basic skills. He calls them four CCs, four CCs. And they are communication. So despite everything everything, the people who have great communication skills will be very successful.
Yes.
Why? Because if we cannot get together with people, if we cannot socialize, then we won't be successful. Communication. The second one is creativity.
Yeah.
If you're not creative, no matter how much you use AI, you can, even if you are not creative, you will not be able to use AI. Because using AI itself is about creativity. If you don't have information, you know that in Turkish language there's a proverb which suggests that they don't ask because they don't know, and they don't know because they don't ask. Basically. So there is even for you to have results, you have to give better prompts.
Yes.
To be able to have better prompts, you have to know something before. So you see that still personal information is very important. Yeah. So communication creativity, and third is collaboration. So we need to get together, we need to work together with others to have better information, to do better process. And the fourth one is critical thinking. Unfortunately, AI technologies, artificial intelligence, is mostly killing many things, but mostly killing our critical thinking. Because AI, especially if you do not change, if you didn't change the, I would say, the settings, the AI will always approve what you say. And you will believe in AI because you have no background about it. Suppose that I say who is ask AI that AI will tell me Ekman is a professor from Yogyakarta, like teaching at the university, and he's teaching Islam. It's not like this. It's not that. He's another guy. So if you know nothing about Ekman, and if you do not have that critical thinking, if you do not check your resources, you believe that Ekman is a guy. Indonesia is teaching at the university. However, the case is totally different. So you should have all these four CCs: creativity, collaboration, thinking, and communication. These four skills are important. Okay? And we should not totally rely. And there are still too many cases in which AI cannot solve. AI cannot. AI can lecture you on everything. Okay, just check ChatGPT and ask him. Look at this now. Here we go. Hello, can you please talk to me about psychology of rituals? See that? You see? AI may also misdirect us. It may also tell lies, and AI may fabricate information. And that is the AI can never give the human sense that we are feeling here. Together, we are flourishing here. AI will not help us, or AI will not allow us to have rituals, because rituals are the activities which we do with others, not AI, right? And therefore, there are many people in this world who have, very close relationship with AI, and then they go and kill themselves. Because inside, yes. Even there are people who are married with AI, ridiculous. So there are two examples about that. Is we have that function. Something.
Yeah.
It is, how to say, it is giving the humankind senses to a technology, okay, or to something else. We start to believe that AI itself has, love, sadness, happiness. So we give human senses to a technology. This is anthropomorphism. Another one is called parasocial interaction. This parasocial interaction. What social interaction is actually, it's more about television contexts. When we watch someone, when we or listen to a singer for a long time, we start to believe that because we listen to them, because we love them, we start to believe that they also love us back. But they actually know that we are existent. They don't actually do not know that we are even. Okay, because I'm watching George Clooney, I believe that George Clooney also loves me back. He doesn't even know who I am. Okay, so this is a person. So this kind of like relationship we are creating here. So
Oh. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
my pleasure.
Yes, everybody's schedule. I think that's all for today. Thank you to everyone for your active participation and for the thoughtful questions throughout today's discussion. On behalf of the Faculty of Islamic Studies and Civilization and the Doctor of Educational Psychology, I would like to express our sincere gratitude to Sof and Rosaja for your sharing such valuable knowledge and perspective with us. We truly appreciate your time, expertise, and inspiring presentation. We also thank our participants for joining today's guest lecture. We hope this session has enriched your understanding and inspired further reflection on the importance of rituals and relationship in promoting human flourishing. And once more time, don't forget to smile.
Yes.
Smile.
I will set or request. Don't sit down when you go out and walk. If you met negative people instead of good people, you can contact with them. So we can hear from you one more time. Okay, thank you so much and have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much for inviting. It was great to talk to you. And if you ever come to Istanbul, thank you very much.
What about Sunday?
Yeah. So keep it. It's perfect.
Hi.
My family is here, right? They put my phone.
Các bạn sinh
Pojok juga boleh gitu ya.
Driver, photographer.
Ya. Nah, oh,
جزاكم الله خيرا.
لا لا واهلا بك ان شاء الله فرصه سعيده تشرفت بك ان شاء الله ان كنت الى استمر اهلا وسهلا ان شاء الله.
Last year I semuanya bisa. Kamu sampai kuliah dia.
وين اسطنبول كيفك؟ ان شاء الله شو جيد من تركيا akan just almost started. He was good time. So thank you very much, everybody. So the most player.
Oh,
How I
2002.
We'll be here for a month. Yeah.
God have you gone wrong?
No,
No.
2002 juara.
We I apa
Thank
apa dia?
Yes, yes. Inshallah.
Dia bisa ini.
Yeah, I mean. So they are looking for a guy. We will be more than happy if you can help us. Inshallah, inshallah. Yeah, please. I'm going to connection to just give your number. Yeah. And me. Mashallah.
وإن تكون هنا يا بروفيسور.
والله في لا ليس في البيت في البيت يصير لا ليس
Quite good, yeah.
لكن بروفيسور جيس
But we got
December. Yes.
Yes, GECE.
Enggak, oh jemput Adam.
G.
Kemana ibu?
Kan ngantar ini dulu.
Come on, belakang dia. Come on.
Enggak. Untuk Ahmad di Ahmad ini
Why is that?
Dia macam bisa.
Smile.
Okay, I was sorry.
Inshallah, yeah. Thank you very much. والأبناء التي الحمد لله. إن شاء الله. Can you tell them like can you talk about the laser?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Yang tadi
Thank you very much. Di mana? Tinggalnya.
dekat rumah awak ni.
Berdua. Yes, betul. It's a video here. Yes. Pretty fun.
Ah, itu.
Yes. So,
Nah, tapi
saya
Gimana kabar? Sehat?
no.
boleh saya ya. Di saat yang naik. Ini. Oh, naik. Ini kok. Oh, apa? Tadi Pak. Iya.
Budina itu. Mesti kita bagaimana aja.
Kenapa dia? Namanya gimana? Ustaz. Ustaz ini.
Ini pada.
Kayaknya nggak ada.
Masih sih tidak.
Tiganya di mana?
Di sini. Itu aja di itu aja di ya. Ya udah. Kerjaan.
Intan.